You know, I'm actually kind of impressed by Star Wars Theory and how he's managed to convince so many people that he's a hard-working content creator and that he has any amount of integrity or cares about his fans in any capacity. And if you're a fan of his, you might be thinking, what about all those deals he did on his Theory sabers? The only reason he did that is because he buys cheap sabers and then sells them at a higher price. So he's able to run those deals on his fans because it's never going to affect the profit he makes from his overpriced sabers. He's also got a whole production team working on his fan film. And if it turns out to be even competently made, he really shouldn't get most of the credit because all he did was pay for it and let everyone else do the work. Just like his lore videos, he's letting other people do the work and then getting all the credit. His most recent ones were written by other people, because according to him, he doesn't have the time. But like I said, his fan film has a whole production team behind it, and there's a whole team behind Theory Sabers as well, and he's not even editing his own videos. So what is he doing? Listening to the abridged version of a book that he bought? Theory loves to grift off the expanded universe. He posted a video flaunting all of these expanded universe books that he bought, saying, oh, the lore videos are gonna pop off, only to not make any lore videos on those books. And the videos that did have lore from the expanded universe, those were written by other people. And the first time he read Vector Prime, a book that he bought, it was actually listening to it on audiobook, and it's the abridged version of the story, so it's not even the full story. And he couldn't even talk about it on stream without mentioning Theory Sabers. 5 years ago, he made a video called The Original Kylo Ren about Jason Solo. This video is truly impressive. It's almost 20 minutes long. How did he manage to make a 20-minute video about a character in a story that he never read? He's admitted to not reading the New Jedi Order, and he's definitely not read Legacy of the Force. 5 years ago, he also made a video about the Yuuzhan Vong called The New Villain after Episode 9, but he hasn't read the New Jedi Order, so where do you think he's getting this information from? It's not his own knowledge. And here's another video, 8 Jedi Masters who became Sith Lords. It has Darth Krayt in the thumbnail. This guy has not read Star Wars Legacy if he hasn't read the New Jedi Order. And Luke Skywalker's there. Do you really think Star Wars Theory has read Dark Empire? And I'm not trying to get you to dislike Theory for copying the wiki or hiring ghostwriters. But don't call him hardworking, because he isn't. And don't call him a Star Wars expert, because he definitely isn't that. He's a glorified normie. He has above average knowledge about Star Wars. And he spreads misinformation about the expanded universe and George Lucas.
So essentially, before George Lucas sold Star Wars to Disney, there was what he perceived as true Star Wars, which was the first 6 films and the Clone Wars, and that was it. That is Star Wars. To him, that is the only Star Wars that exists. Outside of that is what we consider legends, and that is not canon. So outside of that would be the books, the games, the comics, any other sort of memorabilia or stories or whatever it might be, that's considered legends. So, you know, they're made by Lucasfilm, but they're not what George would consider to be his story, the story. He signs off on a lot of them, a lot of the things that are done and said, right? But they're not what he considers to be Star Wars, which is 1 to 6 and the Clone Wars. That's it.
Echoing the same bullshit lies that we hear all the time from the Disney shills. And for a while I thought Theory really did love those sequel movies when they first came out.
This was really an exceptional ending. And I really enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed the film. I would even go as far as saying, you know, I don't see episode 8 as being in the canon timeline. I see 7 and 9. And it was a beautiful ending to the sequel trilogy. And, you know, so far as doing the entire saga, sure, it wrapped it nicely in the end. And it left me a really good feeling. I'm happy. I really loved it. And I shouldn't be made to feel like I can't say that I loved it, you know?
But now I think he just lied about enjoying those films. And why would he lie about that? Well, because he wanted to get benefits from Disney, and he got those benefits. He was given the novelization of episode 9 before it was even released. He'll spend hours playing a bullshit game like Star Wars Outlaws but can't find the time to read a book. What a fucking joke. And the guy is so up himself thinking he's the authority on Star Wars and the guy who's protecting George Lucas's legacy.
I'm here for me. I'm here for Star Wars, George Lucas, and to protect the legacy because, quite frankly, dude, I'm the only one that keeps doing it.
Despite loving 90% of what Disney have done with Star Wars, despite never reading The New Jedi Order, which George Lucas had a direct involvement in, which is a series that George himself considers part of the original saga.
The original saga was about the father, the children, and the grandchildren. And I mean, that's not a secret to anybody. It's even in the novels and everything. But
Theory's really interesting. He's someone who has a massive ego, but it's clear that he understands on some level he's kind of dumb. And you can see that with his attempts to sound intelligent and like his analysis has any depth. This isn't really a big thing, but it's something I've noticed while watching his videos. He often uses big words to sound smart, but he always uses them in the wrong context. It's just a little embarrassing. He's not really that different from the Disney shills. They're not authentic, he's not authentic. They lie to their fans, he lies to his fans. The biggest difference, however, is that I'm sure a lot of Disney shills actually know more about Star Wars than Star Wars Theory does. Just look at Alex Damon. That guy has read the expanded universe. That guy knows Star Wars. He knows Star Wars better than Star Wars Theory does, that's for sure. Star Wars Theory is barely able to analyze Star Wars on a surface level. He could barely do a surface level analysis on the story, or anything in Star Wars. Any of the characters, any of the themes, any of the plots, anything. And if any of you have seen Stargrift, the podcast he did with Mauler and Ryan, that should be obvious to you. Those two went way too easy on him. I feel like it was very obvious that Star Wars Theory didn't really have any insight into Star Wars or anything interesting to say. But hey, maybe I'm being way too harsh. Maybe he can't read, and that's why he hasn't read any of the expanded universe. Do you guys think he's gonna review Vector Prime? Because apparently he's read it. I'd like to see that. Hopefully he could write the script for it himself. Imagine that. Imagine him doing a review on a book and he didn't even write the script for the review himself. He got someone else to do it, one of his lore masters. That would be pretty funny, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he did that. Because he's too busy, guys. He's too busy selling cheap, overpriced sabers to his fans. Be sure to let me know what you think of Theory, because I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say about him. Thank you for watching. Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys later.